Good morning. Good Monday morning, everybody. It's me, Mitch. Welcome. Welcome to Morning Coffee with Mitch. Good to see you all, and as usual, my friends, drink it if you got it. Oh, wow. And this morning, I've got a coffee cup sent to me by Mark Whistler. It says, Morning Coffee with Mitch. It's like the cup that I showed you the other day with Kenny on the back. This one has the old guy face on it as well. I like it. Thank you, Mark. Thank you very much, my friend. Hey, good to see you all this morning. Good to see you. You may notice a little change of set here this morning. I now have turned my table facing due south. And these are the windows that used to hit me on this side of my face, and the morning sun will now be shining in my face instead of shining all over the computer screens and making them very hard to read. So I have a different, I guess, backdrop today. Still got the trusty plant. My TV is behind me. And I sit out here, this is where I sit out on the patio and watch most of my YouTube stuff. So welcome. Wow, we got 64 people so far. Wow, Monday morning. Holiday week. Merry Christmas, everybody. Happy Hanukkah, Kwanzaa. Whatever you celebrate. I hope it's a great week for you. I'm going to be here every morning this week. Interestingly enough, I looked back because I said, I wonder how long I've been doing this Morning Coffee with Mitch thing. I can't believe it. I did the first one, not live, but the first one of this series 4 months ago yesterday. 4 months. I have not missed a day in 4 months. It's been a week or so more than 2 months that I started doing it live. I used to record it, if you remember, sitting on my couch. And then I'd release it sometime later in the morning. But then I decided, why not do it live? Been over 2 months. I should start putting episode numbers in the titles of the video. Just keep track of the number of these things. I know Joe Rogan does that. He's up to like episode 1 million or something. But maybe I'll go back and count them and start putting episode numbers somewhere in the description or in the title. I'm proud of the unbroken string. I can't promise it'll always be unbroken, but it is the highlight of my day. It is the highlight of my day, and I hope that it is yours too. It is yours too. Let me start off this morning real quick and check and see if I am live. I am live there, and let me check over on Rumble. More to Life was the first one in, then Mike Seeley in Tampa. Mike Seeley Sr. here. Rod Weeder is here. And Ellen, good morning, Ellen. I see you just popped up in the other chat too. Good to see you this morning. And let me make sure it's live over there on Rumble. I'll refresh that screen. Yes, it is. Okay. Okay, good. So let's start saying hi to the early birds. The winner was the Feral Grandma last night, 7:21 p.m. and followed about a half hour later by Turamir Tuka over in Finland. Good to see you. Good to see you. Retired Rick was in here last night. Peter, Papa Carnivore, Don Schonger was here last night. 19 p.m. No slow, and Maciel Ordonez. That's Don Lee. How you doing, Don? 9:54. Lucy Auerbach and Lady June chimed in last night at 12:45 a.m. The first good morning. Lucy's up all night, 1:30 in the morning. Feral Grandma still up. Granny Boo too. How you doing? At 5:43. The last of the Insomniacs and the first one this morning. DS111 says, notification on, back to sleep. And Wayne Herman is here. Good morning, everyone. How you doing? Tina Schweikerath, good morning to you. Mike Seeley back. Cliff Medina's in here. Excuse me, Papa Carnivore, question Mitch. Did you hear that 808,000 people have end-stage kidney disease and only 27,000 received food? Yes, I haven't heard that, no. But I'm not surprised. There's not that many kidneys available. Not that many kidneys. Cliff Medina checked in. How you doing? Good to see you. Marla Kelly, good to see you. And Cliff came back. Cliff has been on a tear lately to bug me multiple times a day with emails and comments about worried. He's so worried about my vitamin D. So worried. Mitch, you're not taking enough vitamin D. You need to take more than 5,000 units. And he's telling me here, did you know that all the people who died with COVID had low vitamin D? And then he tells me, Cliff, my friend, I appreciate it. Here and then, United Carnivore checked in. And then Cliff was back again. Cliff. Hey, Mitch, have you checked your vitamin D levels yet? Cliff, stop it. Please, I love you, man. I appreciate the fact that you're so worried about my vitamin D, but please, I'm on top of it. I'm on top of it, okay? Thank you. I really appreciate you telling me all that stuff. Refer me to all those videos. I'm on top of it. I will get my blood work this year done probably between Christmas and New Year's. You'll be the first to know what my vitamin D level is. I am waiting before I increase my dosage to see exactly what 5,000 international units a day has done for me over the course of a year. And based on that, and I need to know that number before I decide whether I want to take 50,000 units, like you suggest. I need to know what the 5,000 did. I am not sick. I'm not dying from COVID. I have no symptoms of vitamin D deficiency. My vitamin D is in the normal range, even though it's low. I'm not worried about it. I want to keep it simple. I don't want to spend my life micromanaging my health. Okay? So please. But know that I really appreciate your concern. I really do. And I'm not trying to ignore your advice. So let's leave it at that. No more vitamin D talk for a while. I'll let you know. I'll let everybody know as soon as I get the results of my blood work. So it's great. I mean, it really is great to have people that you don't know, that are pretty much strangers, but have come to be friends over the years, that are that concerned. So I can't be mad at you. I love you, man. Smoothie 420 is here. How you doing? How you doing? And Couch Potatoes here. Patty Molden's here. Gina Cav. Richard Williams from Copper Hill, Tennessee. Still not to 8 o'clock yet. Rick in Miami. Charger Mopar. How you doing? Mark's Channel is here. Lorraine Borneo checked in. Good morning. And Don Lee comes back and says, good morning, meatheads. I guess that's us. Sandy Blythe is here. How you doing? And Bob Black, Edward Renner from San Diego. BMAT's here with us. CB, Sheriff CB from Alabama. Good to see you, CB. How are you, my friend? Stickman's Garage checked in. Good to see you. 2 degrees Fahrenheit, but it felt like 8. Yeah. Yes, it's cold. It's warmed up a little bit. It's about 62 out here right now on the patio. It's a little overcast this morning, but the sun looks like it's trying to peek through. But even though I'm facing the window, I still have a fill light up there to light my face and make sure that you all can see this pretty face of mine this morning. But I still felt that it would be better for me to wear this hat so as not to get a chill. Tammy Petarch, good to see you. How you doing, Tammy? Great to see you. Aaron is here. Booby Goats is here. And we're sneaking up on 8:30. Mike Seeley Sr. checked in again. Peter checked in again. No, that's not Peter. I'm sorry. I should read it before I read it. Read the name before I read the message. Tanya is here. Tanya, good morning, Tanya. Kitchen Witch. How you doing? Got my coffee. No eggs at my Sam's yesterday. Not surprised. I'm not surprised. They'll start to come back in. We'll get over this nonsense. I'm glad I went and fought the crowds and stocked up on them, though. Chris is here. Good morning, Chris. Life After Carbs. How you doing? And Boyd Lamb checked in. Holy cow. With all the chickens I have, I only get 2 eggs a day. Oh, wow. And Ellen checked in at 8:29. And here's all the people trying to get the head start on 8:30 MB. Today's winner, Terry Sue. How you doing? And Mary Henke says, good morning, all. Sharpie Aquatics. And Mark Whistler's here. Yes, Mark. Yes. It's a good cup, too. It's a good cup. And it is a little damp out here this morning, and I apologize in advance, but every once in a while I got to do that. Lewis Ellis here, still 8:29. Lizzie checked in, and today's winner, Ketra Naylor, good morning. She has to babysit today. First one at 8:30. The stream has officially started, and seconds later, Captain America, Steve Rogers from Kansas City, Missouri. Good to see you. Good to see you. And Danny in Boston checked in at 8:30. Smoothie 420. Back at 8:30. Peter, Papa Carnivore at 8:30. Touramir at 8:30. And that ends the early birds for this morning. Great to see you. Great to see you. Let me see. I don't have many show notes, but I have some pictures to show you today. Carolyn Loves Elvis Forever asked if I had Peter's photos, and I have them, so I'm going to show them today. And Tina Schweigerath sent me some pictures, and I'm going to show her pictures today because that's absolutely amazing. Not that Peter's isn't amazing. They're both amazing, and I love showing these before and after pictures. I really, really, really do. But first, my friend, or friends, Mitch, Don't try to read and talk at the same time. Make sure if you have a question for me and ask away. Ask away. And ask early. Everybody seems to wait till the last minute. I end up being here till 10 o'clock answering questions that came in after 9:30. I know those things come to mind later, or maybe it's just some of the late arrivals that ask them, but that's fine. Keep asking them, no problem. But put QQQ, please. Don't forget to put QQQ in the chat before the question, and it makes them stand out. It makes them stand out to me, so I do see them. I do see them. Okay, let me do this. Let me queue up the photos here, and let me do this. Let me start with Tina Schweikerath. And this is Tina's before photo. Wow. Not too bad, though. Not too bad. Not too bad. I've seen much bigger, but that's the before photo. Now, let me show you the after photo. Look at that. Let me get it. There you go. Look at that. Would you believe that's the same person? Tina. Little round of applause for Tina there. I'm trying to be smooth with the sound effects, guys. Trying to do professional show business. Anyway, Tina, before. Holy mackerel. Tina, congratulations. Look at you. Look at you. Wow. Fabulous. And let me take a second. Oh, I'm going to have the sun in my eyes, unfortunately. I don't know if that's any better than having the sun shining on the computer screen, because now when I look at the computer screen, I got the sun shining in my eyes. Oh, no. I may have to put it back the other way. It may be better the other way. Well, I thought I'd give it a try. The sun will get a little higher in the sky in a few minutes, go behind the palm tree. But let me do this. Let me go back here. And let me find Peter's again. I have to go back to my emails and say, there it is, Peter. And let's go to the first. And here is Peter before. And I think I have another before picture too. Yes. Oh my God. Peter. There's two of you there. Holy cow. Will you look at that? Will you look at Peter? Holy mackerel. And now, Peter, I have to go back to the email. I have to go back to the email itself. And I have to find the second email where you sent me the before carnivore or after carnivore photo. Okay, are you ready? And that's Peter afterwards. Wow. That's fabulous, my friend. I would never have recognized you. Never, ever. So there you go. By popular request, a replay of Peter's before and after. And the brand new photos that I just got from Tina. And I think that's amazing. And I know sometimes it's embarrassing to send me some of these before pictures, but if you've got before and after pictures that show such dramatic change, I know there's been a change in your health, but to have such a dramatic change in your appearance, send them to me. Also, send me pictures with t-shirts and coffee cups so I can put them on the website and show them off too. I love showing off your pictures, guys. I really do. And speaking of coffee, everybody, it's time. It's time. Hide the children if you think they'll be offended. Put up with me for a minute. Put up with me for a minute while I give you my shameless buy me a coffee plug. If you like what I do, I put a link in the chat. Really helps me out, helps this channel out. If you want to say thank you to me, if you enjoy what I do, you can send me a comment or an email saying, thank you, Mitch, we really appreciate it. You can buy me a coffee, and everything is appreciated. So thank you. Thank you. And I'll also mention, shop on my Amazon links. You all know where they are by now. So end of shameless plug. You can bring the children. You can bring the children back into the room now. That horrible stuff of me shamelessly plugging myself is now officially over. The only bad thing about sitting here is I can't see the clock on the wall, but I have a watch. So if I occasionally glance at my watch, you'll know I'm just trying to keep track of the time. I want to make sure I have time to get to the questions, but I also want to go through the chat. So let's just start. I'm going to start looking for questions now. I left off right here with Sandy Blythe, who checked in at 8:31 and said hello. And I'm going to be looking for some new people I haven't said hi to yet. And I'm looking for questions. Jeff Johnson's here. Good morning, Jeff. How you doing? Good to see you. And Steve Studley is still asking for the butter and salt. Man, haven't you found that yet? Tom from Tampa. Viking 442. How you doing? Hey, in reality, the sun is really not that bad. Not that bad. Maybe I'll keep this up. You let me know. Which do you like better? Do you like seeing my long patio all the way down to the end behind me, or do you like this wall? I got the TV there, got the plant, got my little porch over on that side. Yes, yes. Oh, phone went ding. Phone went ding. Yes, yes. Ketra, thank you so much. A little Christmas coffee for Mitch this week. She says, here's your Monday morning cup of coffee. Thank you, Mitch, for all your hard work. Thank you so much, Ketra. I really appreciate that. I really appreciate that. Appreciate. Once again, proving you don't ask, you don't get. Ellen's chatting away. Good. It's so good to have you here, Ellen. So good to have you here. And Kitchen Witch is found the Finnish word for Christmas, I suppose. Jauda sounds almost Jewish. Wow, that's interesting. That's interesting. And yeah, the sun this way in my eyes makes it just as hard to read the computer screen. I don't know. But I like the sun. I like the sun on my face. It feels good. I am going to keep doing it out here every morning. I am. And here we have Sandy Blythe is here again, and Booby Goats, and who is this? DS111, Tammy. William McCartney is new. Hiya, William. Looking for questions. Good to see you. You're chatting away. John Logan. Good morning, flesh eaters. I guess we are. And Internet Opinion. Good morning. Welcome. Good to see you. Good to see you here. I don't really have a lot of news to talk about today. I do, however, want to comment on the fact that I had gotten some requests. Some of you have said you missed me in the kitchen. You missed Mitch in the kitch, I think is the way one of you put it. Mitch in the kitch. And it was magical because I had just released that video from yesterday when I saw that comment. So, yes, I'm not done with my cooking things. When I have something I want to talk about, like I talked about yesterday, if you hadn't seen that video from yesterday, I talked about the relationships between cholesterol, testosterone, and I put a semi-clickbaity thumbnail on it. It wasn't clickbait because it was exactly about what I talked about in the video, but I knew that it would get clicks, and it did. I got twice as many views on that video as I have been getting on my normal videos. So, unfortunately, if you're doing YouTube, you have to make those thumbnails just stimulate the curiosity of people that glance at them. And the title is very important too. And on the thumbnail I said, I don't remember exactly how I worded it, but I did say something like, where has my sex drive gone? So everybody thought that I meant my sex drive. And sometimes when you ask a question, you can pose it in the first person, or you can say, where has your sex drive gone? But I thought more people would think I meant my sex drive, and I did that. So I apologize for that, but it did the trick, and I hope that everybody that watched that video, and I haven't gotten any comments saying that was clickbait, because it wasn't. It was just supposed to be intriguing. The best thumbnails that get the most views, unfortunately, and not just on our carnivore channels, but on the internet in general, are videos from people that have been around for a long time that basically hint at the fact, I'm done, I quit, I'm gone, it's over. They could mean anything, and they usually do, and they usually are clickbait. Because you're done with what? You're quitting what? It's over. What's over? Where are you going? And it usually isn't that they're stopping their YouTube videos or quitting YouTube. It's always about something else. But everybody knows that those videos, those thumbnails get the most clickbait, especially from people that are fans of that channel. I promise you, I will never do that to you unless it's the day that I am saying goodbye and quitting YouTube in the carnivore space. And then it won't be clickbait. Probably be the biggest running video I've ever posted just because of that. And that's why you see so much of that kind of stuff. And I'm not a fan of that. And I think it's despicable when people try to lead, just to get clicks, try to lead people to think that they're really, really giving up on YouTube. All right, questions. Don't see any yet. Graceful Lily's here. How you doing? How you doing? Good to see you. And anybody else new? Everybody's chatting away. Yes. Wow. Look at all the chats. James Bellew, how you doing, James? Good morning, everybody. I'm up so early. It's 5:30 in California. Yes. Yes, it is. And it's almost 9 o'clock here in Florida. Place it here. Good morning. Good morning. Just wanted to pop in and say Merry Christmas. Glad to see you. Glad to see you. Danny in Boston is here. Hiya, Danny. Always good to see you. Now, everybody is complimenting, saying hi to everybody else. Okay. Give me something to talk about, people. Moto J81, how you doing? How you doing? Same people are chatting. Here we go. Here we go. Rich Walker. Rich here from East Tennessee. Good to see you, Rich. Kat M is here. Good to see you. Scott Elliott. Good morning. from Colorado says Merry Christmas to all. Yeah, we're going to hear a lot of Merry Christmases this week. I guarantee you. I guarantee you we are. And wow. I'm going to save this. Booby Goat sent me a picture, sent me a before and after photo. Aaron, thank you. I just got the email. I'm going to save that for tomorrow. So tune in tomorrow and I'll show your before and after picture. Super. Thank you for that. Thank you for that. MC 1964. I'm a healthy 60-year-old, so I don't worry about COVID. Yeah, who's worried about COVID anymore? Anybody who gets it these days that isn't on their deathbed already is not going to get too sick. And most of the ones that died from it, most of them were probably had some condition that they were in incredibly poor health. Incredibly poor health. There's always exceptions, however. Always exceptions. Matt James says, good morning, Mitch and everyone. Good to see you. And who is this? I've never seen you before. S-Al. Or S-A-I. Good early morning from New Zealand. Wow. Good morning to you. Halfway around the world. And Mark Whistler, always looking out for me. Always watching out for me. With maybe my favorite chat entry of the morning. Don't mind if I do. Excuse me while I light my cigar. And play a little happy music. Dance along. How can you sit still to music like this? Oh, this is good stuff. I wish I had some maracas in my hand. And to my cigar-smoking friends, smoke them if you got them. Yes. Again, my favorite things. Coffee. A good cigar. And the company of my favorite people. My favorite people in the whole world. Thanks for being here, guys. It means a lot to me. 124 of you on Monday morning during a holiday week. That's just great. That's great. Great to see you. Great to see you. No slow. No slow. If you haven't got your Christmas prime rib roast seasoned and dry brining in the fridge, did mine yesterday. Yes. Yes. That's what we're having at my son's house on Wednesday. We are having a prime rib roast made in the Ronco. Yes, one of these Ronco from Ron Popeil. Ronco rotisserie, little rotisserie ovens, and it makes the best friggin' prime rib you ever ate in your life. One of Ron Popeil's greatest achievements. Much, much greater than the spray-on hair that he came up with, something I'll never forget. And most of you are old enough to remember those TV commercials where bald guys were trying to cover their bald spot by spraying stuff out of a spray can to basically paint their heads. God, vanity drives us to amazing, amazing, amazing things. Doesn't it? Doesn't it? Mama Bear scored some eggs yesterday from your chickens. Wow. Wow. I don't think they let me have chickens running around here in this community I live in. Otherwise, I probably would have a few of them out there. Pat Ramirez, how you doing this morning? Good to see you. Good to see you this morning. Yeah, and Moorhen is here. Moorhen, hi, I haven't seen you in a while. How you doing? Yeah, I saw that video. importance of vitamin D. Yes, it is important. There's no doubt about it. It is as important as so many of the other vitamins that most people don't get enough of. That's Dr. John Campbell, I believe he's talking about there. And yes, Cliff did send me a link to that video. I had already seen it, but so what I do is I like to answer these emails, and I usually say, when I see the links, I usually say, thanks, I'll check it out. I don't want people to think that it's not appreciated whenever they try to help me, I still don't see a question. Oh, yes, Ketra says, wow, I wasn't even trying to win the 8:30 slot. You did. And here's a question I can always count on Turamir to ask me, how am I doing? How are you, boss? As usual, Turamir, if I was any better, it'd be illegal. I hope you're the same. I hope all of you are having a great day. Great morning. Bart Simpson says, spare ribs on Christmas Eve will be my gift to myself. I think that's a great idea. Questions. A lot of chatting going on here. Wow. Look at this. Peter and Ellen are both here today. I'm going to have a lot of chats. I'm at 8:46. So I'm 20 minutes behind. Not too bad. Mary Henke's here. How you doing, Mary? Good to see you. And there we go. Here's a question. Peter, Mitch, did you find my before and after photos? I think Carolyn said yesterday she wanted you to see. Yes, I just showed them. Peter. Where were you? Everybody saw them. I found them. Yes, I found them. I never delete any of that stuff. So yes, Carolyn did say she wanted to see them, and I showed them. And I'll show them tomorrow if you want me to, because it's a miracle. And I can understand why you're so proud. Honestly, I understand that. This is great. No Slow says to Tina Schweikerath, you're an inspiration. Yes, there's no doubt about that. Looking for questions. Evidently, I showed those photos before Peter, before I showed them after Peter made that comment. So now we're getting to the point where I was showing those photos, and everybody is. And Tabby says, question, Mitch, do you have my pictures? And yes, I have your pictures. I do have your pictures here. Would you like me to show them? If you would, let me know and I will show them tomorrow. How's that? Because that's always a great thing to do. So I will show Booby Goat's pictures and yours. Just make sure you let me know if it's okay. I guess it's okay if you ask me if I have them. And yes, I have them. I just found them. I have it in my Gmail, a separate folder where I just put all the before and after pictures. And I figured out a way while I'm out here right in the middle of this live stream that I can actually go into my Gmail without you having to watch or see what I'm doing and find them. So yes, I have them here and I'll show them tomorrow to everybody. In fact, let me take 1 second. And go into my show notes and say pictures of Tammy and Aaron. Okay. on Tuesday. Perfect. Perfect. Now, it won't get lost in this jumble of a mind that I have that's constantly always thinking about things. I will not forget it. So, thank you for that, reminding me, and I will show them tomorrow. I will show them. And here's where I chimed in with my Buy Me a Coffee link. And just in case you haven't seen it, I'll put it back in there again. Thanks in advance, guys. So now we go down here. I'm still looking. Ellen, Tom, Peter, Turamir, Tammy. Peter, you look marvelous, she says. Oh, that's great. That's great. And we have Kodiak Joe. Good morning from Kodiak, Alaska. Hey, say hi to Jonathan from Bags Pack Family when you see him up there, because I know everybody in Alaska runs into everybody else every day, don't they? Don't they? Tina comes back in with a little explanation. A total of 60.4 pounds from low carb, then ketovore, then carnivore. My before photo, I had already lost 20 pounds. Started at 184 pounds. I'm 68 years old, 5'2", 2-inch journey. Wow. Wow. Thanks for that. Thanks for that little bit of additional information. It makes it more meaningful. Here's a question from Terry Sue. Question: I feel like I'm not eating enough, as oftentimes I feel full after only a few bites. I need nutrition, but have no appetite. Suggestions? I don't know, Terry. I don't think you have that much weight to lose. And if you're looking, or you're trying, maybe, I can't tell you why you have no appetite. I don't know if, are you taking any kind of medication that might be suppressing your appetite? If not, are you moving around? You get some exercise? I hope so. Doesn't have to be that vigorous, but at least keep moving. Are you like me and you really never feel really hungry? So the test and the gauge that I use for myself is, and I've said this before, I say to, if somebody were to ask me, are you hungry, Mitch? I say, I could eat. And that's kind of halfway between I could eat, but I don't really feel a pressing urge or necessity to eat. But I'll tell you what I find. I find that even if I'm not feeling hungry at all, I know I need to get enough food. So I always eat my second meal, even if I'm not hungry, because I don't want to eat too late. And I figure, if I don't eat it now and I'm not hungry, I might get hungry at 9 o'clock at night, and I don't want to eat late. I don't want to screw up my daily intermittent fasting routine. So if I say, I could eat, I make a meal and I start eating, and I find that once I start eating, my hunger for food does return. And I always eat the entire meal and never feel like I'm forcing it down. And I eat it until the satiety comes back. And that's how I do it. And maybe you're in that respect like me. Maybe you are not starving, not really hungry, could care less if I eat. But I could eat. And if you could eat, then eat. And I think it also depends, are you losing more weight? Or are you at what your body thinks is its ideal weight? So try that as a suggestion, I would say. Try that as a suggestion, that try to eat more at your first meal of the day. And then go for a second meal. I don't know how many meals you eat a day or anything, but Every one of us is different. Every one of us is different. And when it comes to what affects our hunger, there are a lot of people that would just envy you. People that wish they had that problem and not the problem of eating too much and never being able to stop. I hope that helps a little bit. Don't let that subject die. Just keep letting me know more and more about you. Maybe you come into the live stream on Thursday night and we'll talk about it where I can actually ask you some questions. Mark says Mitch in the kitch has a nice ring to it. Yeah. I didn't invent it. I was one of you guys and I can't recall exactly who it was who said that. So if it was you who said that to me in a comment, let me know. Let me know. Make a comment about it. Say, that was me. That was me. How am I doing on time here? Oh, my God. It's 9:15. I am 20 minutes behind in the chat. I'm still looking for questions. I got to go faster here. I got to go faster. Okay. Thank you, John. Mitch, new camera angle shows you fully lit. Yes, I am. But sometimes you go for that shadowy thing. That's portrait-like. And you'll see a lot of people work very hard not to be fully lit. They want to be more cinematic looking. But no, this is great. The sun is behind the palm tree now. It's not right in my eyes. I think I like this. And I think the table itself is a little more out of the way because it's up against the wall now, not sticking out from the wall. So I think, yeah, I'll do this for a while and see. Be interesting to see what it's like on the first totally clear blue sky sunny day. But then again, as the days start to get longer, I'm facing due south right now. The sun will start to move more north, and it'll be coming when it's due east of us as we approach spring, and it starts to go to the north of us where the sun rises. It will be right again coming in from the side windows, but it should never, at this angle, if I do this ever, should never shine right on the computer screen itself, which makes it harder to read. Here's a question from Ketra. Ketra, question, Mitch, do you think you would still be alive after your brain surgery if you had not picked up on the carnivore way of eating? Yeah, I think I would have survived because I had been keto for a lot of years and I hadn't even started carnivore yet. That brain surgery of mine was 3 years ago, last August. And I was keto. So I was pretty low carb and in pretty good health. In fact, I hurt my head at the gym. So I was working out and I was in pretty good health. And I think I was in good enough health. I think I weighed at that point maybe 15 pounds, 20 pounds, at about 150. A little more than I weigh now. I weighed 137 and a half this morning. But no, I think I would have survived fine. But that's partly responsible for why I went carnivore, because as I was recovering from that, my diet, when you face death, like I guess I did, I don't think about, I almost died. I don't think about that. I mean, we almost die every day when we get out of bed and head out in traffic, but how close we come, who knows? Who knows? I took some time. I mean, I was sedentary. I was recovering, trying to regain, I did okay after a month, but it took me quite a while. And I just started eating crap. I let my addictions win. And I put on like 30 some pounds. And a year, went back on keto, but I was still having a hard time at my addictions. And in August of 2022 is when I said, that's it, I'm going carnivore, no more carbs for me. Came up with the idea of stuffing my face until I couldn't look at food anymore. Every time I got hungry, I ate like a friggin' pig for the first 30 days, and I actually lost 4 pounds. That's why I tell people when I tell people, eat like there's no tomorrow, eat until you can't move, eat until you can't eat anymore, eat meat, eat meat, eat meat whenever you get a craving, and the cravings will go away. And that is the first thing in my life I ever did that worked. And it's been a success ever since, and I haven't eaten a single carb or wanted one since I started this thing back almost 2.5 years ago. Which is why I harp on that first 30-day plan of mine. And I didn't weigh myself not because I had started to say to myself, throw away the scale, but because I didn't want to know. I just didn't want to know. I was going to stick to this overeating meat regardless of the consequences. It was an experiment. It was to see. And I figure whatever, if I do gain weight, whatever I gain, when I get rid of these cravings, I will lose it. And interestingly enough, after a month of eating 5, 6, maybe even 7,000 calories of meat and fat every day just to keep the cravings at bay, I stepped on this scale and lost 4 pounds. I said yes. And then I did that. I was carnivore for a full year. And then I said, I'm on to something here. I've got this old drone YouTube channel. I know enough about this stuff to talk intelligently now and maybe provide some useful information. I'm going to change my channel over to a carnivore channel. And here we are. Almost to 2025. So, yes, that's a good question. Interesting question. Thank you, Ketra. Thank you. Okay, looking for more questions. And if I see somebody new that I haven't seen before, I will say hi. Mark's channel, QQQ. Have you ever considered doing interviews with carnivores? I've considered it. But I haven't done it, and I don't do it. I don't do it simply because of my own reaction to those kinds of things, and the fact that, and I say this with a lot of love, there ain't a carnivore on the planet Earth that Dave Mack hasn't interviewed yet, and many other people. And I find I can't even watch these interviews anymore because it is the same story over and over and over again. The same thing. And I got bored with it, and I think a lot of people do. There are very few people, including myself, whose story is so different from everybody else's that particular interview would become monumental, go viral. And I think a lot of people are tired of those things. And I see even Sean Baker, for example, he has his Sean Baker podcast. He gets pitifully few views on those interview videos. So I just don't think I'm going to ever pursue that. And I don't even do a lot of interviews with other people because I figure that they've heard it all before. And if they want to find out what I think, watch me. I talk about it every day. So as a YouTuber, I don't like to do a lot of interviews. If I was not a YouTuber, and yes, I would let anybody that asked me interview me on YouTube, because it's important, I think, that in one way or another, all of our stories finally find a way out there. Peter's being hard on Kip. I unsubscribed to Kip's channel. I'm no longer a fan. I feel like I was duped by his constantly falling off plan and using clickbait to get sympathy. And, well, we talked about that. Yeah, I share your opinion. And he may be perfectly legitimate, perfectly on the level. He may be the world's most addicted carb addict. But he sure has great production value. Good lighting, a great camera, nice backgrounds in his videos. Enough said. Enough said. Enough said. Internet opinion says, I appreciate that you respect your viewers and not manipulate them like that. YouTubers that do that lose my respect, and with it goes my views and sub. And being true to your name, Internet opinion, thank you for that. I value that opinion. I really do, and I share it with you. I absolutely share that with you. Booby says, I can send better ones. Yes, send them to me today. Send them to me. Send me a bunch of them. And we'll feature you tomorrow, you and Tammy. And we'll motivate and inspire, and just inspire everybody. Everybody. I love this. Hey, Meatitudes, how are you? Happy Festivus. He says, Carnivore has erased my grievances. I knew it was good for something. That's great. That's great. Obviously a Seinfeld fan. I'm a Seinfeld fan. Not a fan of their politics, but I am a fan of their humor. DS-111. Do you think that since we know high blood glucose is what causes irritation to arterial walls, is it not safe for people to dabble in carnivore, either all or none? Probably. Of course it's safe. There's nothing about a carnivore diet that can hurt you. There's nothing in whole food, animal products that can hurt you. The closest thing would be lactose in milk, and we're not supposed to do that. Not once you're not a baby anymore. The only reason there's sugar in milk is for babies. They need it to grow, to develop. And how long is an infant child supposed to be on mother's milk? 5 years, I think. But who's doing that these days? Having their 5-year-old still on mother's milk. Most people are trying to wean their kids off to solid food after 2 weeks, they just get tired of it. But in the animal kingdom, and mother's milk has lactose in it, and we need that sugar at those early stages of development. But we don't need that afterwards. So if you're older than 5 years old and you don't drink milk, there's nothing in a carnivore diet that can do you anything but good. So that question, do you think that since we know, yes, we know that it does that, is it not safe for people? It is 100%. That's a loaded question, DS-111, and you knew the answer to that before you asked it, but it's a good point. Of course. And Ken Berry says that all the time. Everybody asks him, can I go keto? Can I do carnivore? I have this disease. Will this hurt my... No, there's nothing that you can have that could be hurt by eating proper nutrition, because that's all you're doing. You're just getting the right vitamins, minerals, and amino acids when you eat a carnivore diet. And the minimum daily requirement of all the rest of that stuff from sugars and plants is 0 for a healthy human being. So no, I can't imagine. I mean, they like to, the vegans come up with it. Yeah, it destroys your kidneys. It's going to give you diabetes. It'll give you a heart attack. It'll clog your... No, we all know beyond a shadow of a doubt now that cholesterol is not a problem. It is sugar, seed oils, and grains. They're poisonous. They're poisonous. Okay, I'm looking. Here's a question from Mark Whistler again. Question: who is the sous vide guru you mentioned the other day, besides you, that is? Okay, his name is Guga, Guga. He's from South Florida. He's in the food business. He's got 2 or 3 huge YouTube channels. I love him. He's a Hispanic guy. He's got a channel called Guga Foods, and he's got a channel called Sous Vide Everything, and hundreds of videos. Some of them, not all of that stuff is carnivore. I mean, he had one I saw came up in my feed this morning. He says, I soaked a steak in red wine for 30 days and then ate it. He does these wild experiments with all kinds of crap, trying to see what would happen. And but sous vide everything. His name is Guga, Guga. It's a great channel. It's a great channel. You'd enjoy it. And if anybody ever wants to know that again, let me know. I would recommend his channel to virtually everybody. How are we doing over in Rumble? On Rumble we have Donna B. Maui. Good morning from Maui. Good morning. And there's a question over there, Donna. Donna, Mitch. I can't show this to you, but because I'm looking at the Rumble feed. I've been carnivore for about 60 days, experiencing dry mouth at night, dry eyes. Do I need to add more electrolytes, fat, maybe not drinking enough water, occasional muscle cramps? Sounds like electrolytes. The cramps are a giveaway for that. I would up your fat and up your electrolytes a little bit. And the way to tell if you're drinking enough liquid is basically the color of your urine. If it's a darker yellow color, you're dehydrated. If it comes out like gin, sparkling water clear, you're certainly drinking enough water. So that's our body's best signal, besides thirst. Thirst is the primary signal for I need some water. But yeah, I would add electrolytes, absolutely, and maybe trying to up your fat. So that's a good question. I'm glad I took a look over there. Panama Bob is over there too. He says, good morning, everybody, and more to life over there is waving at us. Great. Good to see people in Rumble. How many people did I have over there watching? I had 10. Hello, Rumblers. Good to see you here. And we're going down. Carnivorous cat bomb. Good morning from chilly Peoria, Illinois. Wow, I'll bet it is chilly up there. Mary Hankey said, Terry Sue asked a question at 8:52. 8:52. Okay, I'm going to leave your question up there, and I'm going to go run back to 8:52 and see if I got that, and I think I may have. 8:50. Terry Sue, where is that question? 8:52. Tina. 8:51. At 8:52, I see Steve Studley, Papa Carnivore, Touramir, Terry Sue. I feel like I'm not eating. Yeah, okay. That's what happens when I get so far behind in the chat. I hadn't gotten to that question yet, but I did get to it. There's the one. And now I have to find where I left off. Aunt B, I see, just asked me a question. Hello there, dear, and happiest of Mondays to you. B, thank you so much. Thank you very much, B. Appreciate that. I actually like Mondays. Things, not today, but I always found for me, Monday, if I need to go out shopping for something, other than trying to get to Sam's Club early, Monday is kind of the best. It's kind of the best day for me to do it. And here's the question where I left off. So that's where we are. Scooby, says, oh. Profound, Ellen. Very profound. And I miss you, Ellen, just so you know. Here's a... Peter answered Terry Sous. Peter answers everybody's questions. He answers them before I do. Okay, there's that. And let's see, I'm still looking. Ha ha ha, DS111, Lucky Mitch, now women are sending photos. That's great. That's great. I love it. I love it. And Aunt B chimed in here and said, hello, everyone. Good morning, B. Good morning, B. How you doing? Good to see you. We got 131 people here. Wow. Monday morning. Holiday week. It's going to be an interesting week. Attendance-wise here. It's going to be interesting to say the least. DS111 says he feels like he eats too many times a day, but he does it anyway. Well, if you're healthy and everything's fine and you're at the weight you want to be, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. Terry Sue says, I never get sardine hungry. I never do either. Some people really do. I go with my own cues. I eat them maybe once a month. Just because I know that's loaded with omega-3s, but the stuff I eat, generally the stuff I enjoy the most, that I'm hungriest for, and I think it's a message telling me that that's what my body wants. Whatever's in that food is something that may need to be replenished. Well, we're at the point. We are already officially into overtime, but that's okay because we're on my time now, folks. You notice I hardly ever smoke any of this cigar while I'm live. Terry Sue, oh, here we go, a little more information. I started at 173, now I'm 140. I kind of want to be 135, but I've been stalled at 140 for several months. It may be. First of all, as you get close to your ideal weight, the changes really slow down. Really. It could take a year before you lose that last 5 pounds if your body thinks that's where it should be. So you just say it is what it is. I'm leaving it up to something smarter than I am, and that is your subconscious mind knows what the ideal weight, when your body's functioning better, the best it can. And it'll zero in eventually on that ideal weight. And if you're at 140 and you started at 173, Terry, you may be, because you're stalled, your body may be giving you cues that it is ready to start losing weight again. And you need to, for a little while, eat less. It's hard to second guess our subconscious. We usually can't. But that's why I say, the best, almost the least harmful thing you could ever do is to go with your instincts, not your addictions. I've had people say to me, well, I instinctually want to eat ice cream and donuts. Well, that's an addiction talking. That isn't your subconscious. Believe me, your subconscious, when its programming developed over all those years, didn't know what ice cream or donuts even were. It's been hijacked. It's been hijacked. And here's a question that's a good one. Jay Verth, how you doing? Can a person's A1C go up after 5 months on carnivore? Yes, it's very common. It's very common. Now, I don't know if you're a diabetic or not. There's been a couple of theories about why that happens. Number one, if you're not eating any carbs and you haven't been eating any carbs and you're true to carnivore and you don't cheat, you don't drink milk, and I mean really, like me, you haven't consciously eaten a carb other than those carbs that come in meat in the form of glycogen, and your A1C can go up. Mine went up from like 4.9 to 5.0. But that is still a great number. If it goes up and you find out you're a diabetic, then there's something wrong. And that needs to be addressed by, unfortunately, the medical community. So you try to find a doctor that really understands physiology and doesn't buy into this nonsense that all these other doctors are putting out there, and that's the hardest thing in the world. But there's a couple of theories. Number one, it could be that you're eating way too much protein, way too much. You're not eating enough fat. You're eating way too much protein. Your body is taking this protein through gluconeogenesis and creating sugar out of it. But you can tell if that's the case by your blood sugar levels. So if your blood sugar levels are good and your insulin levels are good, then that probably isn't what's happening. What I think is a more likely explanation that makes more sense to me, but I don't know if it's ever been proven or there's ever been a study to talk about it, is that your red blood cells are healthier and living longer. Think about that for a minute. And think about what the A1C measurement is. A blood cell's lifespan of an average blood cell is 2 to 3 months or thereabouts. None of us have red blood cells in us that are any older than that. They do their job, they die, and they're replaced constantly. During the lifespan of a red blood cell, it's floating around in this same aqueous liquid with glucose molecules. And as glucose molecules they attach themselves to that red blood cell. So it stands to reason that for the 2 to 3 month lifespan of that red blood cell, the amount of glucose attaching itself, or that has attached itself, will continually increase until the blood cell dies. Follow that? Think about it. If you go to dye something, dye a fabric, the longer you keep it in the dye, the darker the color gets. The more of it will be attached to whatever it is that you're dyeing. That's why when you use any kind of a test strip for a blood test or anything, or a ketone strip for a urine, the amount of time it's exposed to the urine affects how dark the strip's going to get. And if you leave it sit too long, it'll get darker and you won't get an accurate reading. Well, a blood cell, through the course of its lifespan, will have a certain amount of sugar attached, and the amount of sugar that's attached is directly related to the amount of glucose you have in your blood. If you have a lower average blood sugar, less of it will attach to these cells. If you have a higher blood sugar, or you're like a diabetic, or even if it bounces around, more glucose will attach to your blood cells. And what an A1C test does is it reads how much sugar is attached to each blood cell. And in doing that, they actually get an average of the amount of sugar in your blood over the lifespan of a red blood cell, 2 to 3 months. And that's how they can tell if you have high blood sugar, and it's not just a spike, like a glucose test from something that you just ate. Well, we get healthier. A lot of people are saying that when you're a carnivore and as you get healthy, your blood cells, your red blood cells, are now living how much longer? 5%, 10% longer? Which means they have more time to be bathed in that bath of glucose in your bloodstream, and they will accumulate more of it. So, as you get healthier and healthier, the average amount of glucose that sugar attaches to was able to increase because your blood cells are now healthier. They don't die as soon and they stay swimming in that stuff longer. And because of that, they actually accumulate more sugar. Not because there's more sugar there, just because they've been bathed in that sugar for 5 or 10% longer than they used to be before you got healthy. That I don't think has ever been proved, but it has been posited as a hypothesis by the likes of Ben Bickman and those kind of scientists. So I tend to think that that's probably the most logical explanation, unless it's some stupid high rise, like your A1C went from 5 to 7, then I'd say, man, something is wrong. You may have become, in the process of eating bad things all your life, you may have actually become a type 1 diabetic. And you're taking way too much insulin. But I don't think that's true. So think about that. Think about that. And if the rise is a point, a tenth of a point rather, 2/10 of a point, and as long as it's still under 5.6, and I don't know if were a diabetic or have recovered from it or used to take, I don't know anything about you, but that's what I've heard that I think is the best explanation for a slight rise in A1C among carnivores. And that's about the best I can do with that. Great question, though. A great question. Now, DS-111, why in the world could you imagine me roaming the planet as a quietly miserable carnivore? Oh, Aaron says, I was 250 pounds and I'm now stuck at 168. I've been there for a few months. Yeah, you may be there for a few more months. You've lost a tremendous amount of weight. Your body has to reevaluate what we call its set point. So I just keep doing what you're doing. It worked. It worked. And we talk about stalls a lot, and stalls can last for a long time, especially once you've lost a lot of weight. Because that weight loss, your body's still trying to figure out what happened. Looking for more questions. I am still a half an hour behind. God, I don't know if I'm going to catch up today. I got to start going real fast, guys. I can't even, if I want to find questions, I can't read your chats anymore after this. While I look for questions, I need to catch up. 9:30. Okay, I'm 20 minutes behind. Bear with me. Here we go. Is this a question, Mitch? What should the carnivore food pyramid look like? Are you trying to sell t-shirts for me? Are you trying to sell t-shirts for me? I have a carnivore food pyramid. And it has 4 levels to it. And in the bottom level is a cow. The next level up has a sheep. The next level up has a pig. And the top level has a chicken. And that, I think, is probably the closest estimate. So, of all the animal products you eat, you should prioritize beef, after beef, lamb, after lamb, pork, because pork is not a ruminant animal. And then, if you have to, chicken, at the top, and fish, I would imagine, is probably in there in the top 2 levels, but I didn't put fish in my carnivore pyramid t-shirt. I stayed with animals. But that, basically, I don't think we need to worry about it all that much. Excuse me. I think that just eat meat. Eat meat. Seafood. I don't, whatever you like, whatever your body is telling you. Wow, this would be great. I would really love it. So say that's a good question. That's the carnivore food pyramid. Oh, that was the question that I saw when it first came up. Oh, now I see people are asking questions in the chat. Carnivorous Cat Mom has one way down. I'll try to get to it. Here, I'm trying to catch up, so I will get to it eventually, where I can put it on the screen. Scott Evans, yes, the answer to that is yes, and I've relit it a couple times too. Thank you. And Peter said no cigar today. Oh, by 9:36, man, I've been smoking. Where have you been, man? Pay attention. You got to look at the screen once in a while, Peter. Get your head out of the chat. Questions. I'm up to 9:42 in the chat. 9:42. 10 minutes behind or so. I'm going to do it. I'm going to make it. Tammy, Mitch, do you get a fasting insulin test? I asked my old doctor, and he said he would. What do you need that for? Never did it. New doctor in January. No, I don't need one. I don't need one. My insulin levels are right. I know it. I know they're right simply because of my health. A fasting insulin test or a C-peptide test, which directly measures the amount of insulin produced by the pancreas, which, if you're a diabetic and you're injecting insulin, then a C-peptide test lets you know how well your pancreas is working, whereas a fasting insulin will only tell you how much insulin's in your blood, but not where it came from. Did you make it or did you inject it? Insulin, rising fasting insulin, is the earliest way to detect oncoming pre-diabetes, because it's the first thing that shows up in blood tests that doesn't show up normal, because most of the time they look at blood glucose, a glucose tolerance test, to determine if you're a diabetic or not. But as you keep eating more and more sugar, and as your pancreas over years has to keep working a little harder all the time, producing a little more insulin, if you were monitoring your fasting insulin every year, you would notice that, and you would say, why is my fasting insulin on a steady incline year after year, but yet my blood glucose, my glucose tolerance test shows me that I'm perfectly fine? And the reason is, even though your pancreas is making more insulin to deal with greater amounts of sugar, it's enough insulin to deal with that sugar, and it does deal with it, so your glucose tolerance test still shows up that you're normal. But year after year, it's taking you increasingly more and more and more insulin to stay normal until you get to the point where the amount of insulin that you're able to produce, screaming high, can't deal with all the sugar you're eating. And then, my friend, your glucose tolerance test shows you're now a diabetic. You could have known this 10 years before as the beginning signs of having more and more insulin every year started to rear their ugly head. But no, our doctors don't think like that. They're too busy looking at your LDL, forgetting everything else. It's nuts. It's malpractice. So a fasting insulin test is very useful for somebody who is not a diabetic, younger, to find out if they're about to become a diabetic in 10 years. Once you're a diabetic, I guess it would be good to see if you're actually, your insulin is coming down and you can actually get off the insulin you're injecting if you're a diabetic. But the real plus of a fasting insulin or C-peptide test would be, how much insulin are you producing? And until you get to a certain point, you'd never know that by looking at a glucose tolerance test. So that's what fasting insulin tests are for. I don't know, Tammy, I don't know your history of diabetes or sugar or whether or what your A1C is or anything else, but I would say it couldn't hurt in any respect to know what your fasting insulin is. I think it's a test that should mandatorily be part of every blood panel for every human being. But you go tell that to the insurance companies that have to pay for these things. So I hope that explanation of why it's such a valuable test and nobody seems to do it. It could turn people to a healthier diet. It could scare people into a healthier diet knowing that diabetes is imminent if they don't change something. Here's Carnivorous Cat Mom's question. Mitch, I've been doing carnivore ketovore for about 5 months now. I was just diagnosed with UTI. Is this related to what I am eating? Primarily meat, one veg, Brussels sprouts, and butter. No, I can't imagine, but I'm not an infectious expert in urinary tract infections. There's a whole lot of other things that happen to women that I don't pay too much attention to unless I happen to be married to that particular woman, and she's having UTIs. I've been through all of that. I've been through the yeast infections. I've been through everything. God knows what you're doing. So I do not think that eating meat and Brussels sprouts has anything whatsoever to do with that infection. As you do get healthier on carnivore, it can help because your immune system strengthens, and maybe something that gave you a UTI might have been handled and dispatched very nicely by your immune system. That's not an area that I have studied. I've never had a urinary tract infection, thank goodness, and not something I ever had to look into. If I was a doctor, I would have had to sit through the classes in medical school and maybe would know a hell of a lot more about it than I do. All right, we are almost at 10 o'clock. Wow. And my watch just told me a SpaceX rocket either just went up or it's about to. I'll let you know if I hear the rumbling here. I'm up to 10 minutes behind in the chat, 9 minutes. I am catching up here, looking for any last minute questions. You guys will keep going all day if I stay here. I know you will. I got it. I did it at the bottom, Ellen. The last one. Well, Ellen and CB and Smooth. CB and everybody. Booby comes in. I can't stop you guys. I think, my friends, it's time to call it a morning. I did get through the chat. I hope I got all the questions. As usual, it's always great to see you. And I'll look forward to tomorrow morning. I'll look forward to tomorrow morning. So, let me do this. We get a little traveling music here. Give you a couple minutes to finish saying goodbye in the chat. I'll stop talking, start dancing, relight this cigar, have a little more of my hot coffee, let you have an overview, and say goodbye to each other. Dance party time, says the Furrow Grandma. Yay. Still hot. Still hot. Love that warmer. Okay, my friends. The song will end here shortly, and hopefully you've all said your goodbyes. And I'm reading all your goodbyes, and goodbye to all of you. Boom. And with that, my friends, with that, have a great week. Have a good day. Take the rest of the day off and eat meat.